So if you could ask a successful trader one question, what would it be? I can almost assure you that most people would not ask about a trading concept or even the best way to learn how to trade. And to prove my point, pop into any of the trading forums that are on the internet, head over to the trading systems or the trading strategies category, click a few links. Very rarely will you see questions asking about the concepts that are at play in the trading system that's being described. For me, for example, when people see my trading chart, even with just bars on it, I'll get asked, what indicators do you use? That's a real beginner's type of question, such as what is trading? That should be more common with those that had little exposure to the markets. But it's not. It's asked by those who profess to be a student of the markets and trading in general. So let's just say this loud and clear. It's not and never will be the indicator that's going to define your success in trading Forex, futures, or any other instrument. Neither is it going to be the settings that are used nor the number of trading indicators that you're going to put on your charts. And that question's actually quite meaningless, and it's really going to get you no closer to your trading goals knowing that information. As an example, if you see moving averages on a chart, would you think that that's the most important aspect of the strategy? Would you think that the moving average is the determining factor to which a trade will or will not be taken? What about the stochastic or the MACD? Well, knowing a stochastic is used and its settings, would that help you in making trading decisions? Well, it's not going to help you at all without knowing something that's more vital, and that's how the indicator is being used. Okay, now that has something you can work with. So if I showed you a chart with two moving averages on it, it's not too special, right? Complicated. Now, if I told you that trading with just these two averages, you could have a decent win rate with low risk profiles and high profit potential trades. What's the logical question? Now, if you said, well, how do you use them? You'd be correct. That's actionable information that you could start using to improve your trading. Now, you've probably seen a ton of trading courses that seem to be a rehash of the same old information from the same old sources. You know, the ones where they say something like, put two moving averages on your chart, must be the 20 and the 50 because the pros use them, and look for the cross and the pullback. Now, questions that you ask can point you in the direction of your goals or lead you further away from them. So the first question that comes to mind is, how do we really know that the pros use them? And the second is, why not the 25 and the 55? Now, we don't know, really, if any great number of the bigger players use the moving average as the basis for a system. I don't think there's ever really been a study done that researched that claim to any great degree. But what we do know is that there is probably nothing magical about the exact moving average input. See, far too many people get caught up in the irrelevant thoughts and questions that really don't move them any closer to where they want to be. So if we agree that psychology plays a big part in your trading success, don't you think that you should maybe laser focus on the things that matter? Now, how about the question, what type of concept are we looking at that will signify a trading opportunity if we use the average? Now, ask questions that can produce actionable answers. Now, if you saw this chart for the first time and could ask one question, you'd want to ask a question that's going to focus on the concept. And that question is obviously, how do you use what's on the chart? So let's compare these questions. What indicators are you using? Well, I'm just using two moving averages. Does that help you? No, not really. Now, what happens in the market that has you making use of these averages? See, that's a great question. I use the crossover as a proxy for trend determination during a quick market scan. I can glance and I can see if the market's trending or it's in a consolidation pattern. The state of the market determines the trading approach. So let's look earlier on in this chart. Prices above the average, which are sloping nicely to the upside. So I'd probably look for a mean reversion trade with a qualifier. Now, here's a trading tip. You have to see a reason for another trend leg if you're trading pullbacks. So I'm going to use the concept of a stretched rubber band. If price is far away from the moving average, I will anticipate a snapback in price. As long as there is no climax in the up move, I'll position for another run for the bulls. But I need to see the band stretched, which means price is far from the moving average. Now, one overplayed trading concept is that moving averages produce or provide support or resistance. Like, I don't think that's the case. Look to the left for clues, but it does frame the market. So you can look in the general area of the average for the trend to continue. Markets expand, markets contract. Now that's a legitimate trading truth. The concept of mean reversion is a viable one to build your trade plan on. Now, there are too many shiny objects that are just looking to grab your attention. In trading though, focus is everything. You focus on following your trading plan. You focus on following proper capital management so you're able to stay in the business even after a string of losses. You focus on understanding that the indicator is not going to make you successful. Now, I remember when I got into trading and I was deciding how to approach the markets. My question was about how to get on board the trend. How can I get involved in the action and, knowing that most people lose, learn proper risk protocols to protect my trading capital? Now, once I understood the concepts that I wanted to use to approach trading, I then set out to find how to make the concepts come alive. And I can really tell you that I never system jumped. I worked through things, and if I was not getting it, I just moved on to something else. Now, my beginner questions were all related to basic trading concepts, such as what was behind the price movement. That's where I focused. Now, questions are good, but your questions should focus on actionable information. Ask questions in relation to trading concepts, and that can actually propel you into developing your own trading system. Now, even people that use trading systems, such as the ones here at Netpicks, they've added or they subtracted a few things to suit their needs and their understanding of the markets. They understand what their needs are because they focused on the important questions that will empower their trading. They've tweaked it to suit their needs, and they can only understand their needs because they focused on what mattered. So what matters is that you learn trading concepts that will allow you to seek out different ways to approach the market. Once you understand the basics of trading, the basics of price movement, you will be on the road from beginner to intermediate and hopefully to an advanced profitable trader.